All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Witching Hour. A little different crew. We threw you all guys off with a little graphic. I'm not Titletown. It's Nades, the usual suspect, but my guy Hamwich, the legend himself, subbing in for Title today. We pulled some cards around. Originally, I was going to miss the show. Hamwich is filling in for me. Now Hamwich is filling in for Title, but nonetheless, we're still going to bring you the winners. Apologize for being a little late. I got into my office and figured out, hey, my MacBook charger decides, hey, it's not going to work anymore. It's not going to charge my Mac. And that's what I used over here to run the stream and do all that. So had to boot, scoot, and boogie out to Best Buy, get a new one, and make it back in time. So sorry about being a little late here, but hopefully all your early slate, little 3-game slate was going good. Hamwich, I'll bring you in, man, before we get to some of the people in the chat here. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Welcome on the Wednesday Witching Hour show with your guy, Nades. How we doing, man?
Hey, doing good. It's always good to get a good Brooks and Dunn reference into the show 5 minutes in, so that's good. It's a good start. Both of our cores are up, which is nice. I did not look at Nade's score, but we're in lockstep today, which is awesome to see. Nades, I feel like it's going to be a shipper today. You and I in lockstep. Hadn't even talked yet, so let's give the folks some winners.
Yeah, give the folks some winners is right. Looking real quick at the weather, I don't see too many crazy games in terms of weather. A little bit in the New York-Chicago game. Kevin Roth has it tagged as yellow-green. Outside of that, really not too much on this main slate. So weather looks pretty good. Let's just say hi to a couple people in chat. We got our guy Tolga in here. Sean V always in here. Casey, what's going on? Casey Parabay, Jake Swales, Warren, everyone in here. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and try and get to 120 likes by the end of this video. 120 likes, we'll give away our top 2 ranked pitchers, our top 2 ranked hitters over here, proprietary metric system that we use for rankings in terms of StatCast data and all that. We definitely appreciate that a ton. And we're making a push to 3,000 subscribers. So if you guys do not subscribe already, please do hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified when we do go live with each of our shows for every sport, which every one of our shows going forward has been switched to the premium side or the free side, to help you guys out. So we appreciate the support with the like button, with the subscribe button. That's enough of that. That's enough of that spiel. Let's jump in. Let's talk pitching like we always do, Hamwich, and let's go 8,500 and above. Actually, we'll go 8,400 and above. That leaves us with Logan Allen, Yu Darvish, Merrill Kelly, Max Fried, Kevin Gausman, and Ohtani. I think it's a very good range here. I think a couple of these guys are going to get a decent amount of ownership at 20-plus ownership for sure. Yu Darvish, Fried, Gausman, and Ohtani. I think they're clearing away the top 4 pitchers on this slate. Talk on those in particular. I'm not seeing any mega chalk like 50, 60% owned, but Ohtani coming in around 30 to 35%, I would say. And then Yu Darvish, probably 35 to 40 something percent, I would say. But again, Yu Darvish gets that strikeout happy Seattle team. Darvish has been great. So touch on this top range. Anyone you have interest in, the guys that seem to be going overlooked are Logan Allen, Merrill Kelly. I know we played BB yesterday. At least I played BB yesterday. Dropped his nutsack on Toronto. So any interest in going back to Logan Allen? What are you doing at this top range?
Yeah, so the my number one pitcher in this range, Nades, is going to be Max Fried. I really like Fried tonight. He was good in his last start. Has been good his last several years. I know he's battled the injury bug a little bit, but almost 32 DK points his last start, which was his first start in quite a while. Gets to face this Pirates team who historically hasn't been very good over the last month or so. I know they hit, I think, five home runs last night, but I really like Max Fried. And then when I look at the SHIPIT Nation rankings, we really like him over here as well. So I have a lot of interest in Max Fried, especially at this price point on DK, 9,400. That's a $2,000, almost $2,000 off Ohtani, who I'm not in love with. I know he's got a good matchup, and he's Ohtani. He can strike out, 12 of them, but he's been struggling. When I say struggling, he hasn't been Ohtani-esque in his last several starts. He's left a couple of those games with injuries from a pitching standpoint. So at 11-3, that's a big boy price tag. I think Fried can match him point for point, and at a $2,000 savings, I think I'm going to back off Ohtani. I do have some interest in Kevin Gausman in this range. Gets to face this Cleveland Guardians lineup, who really I'm only scared of Jose Ramirez. They scuffled at the plate last night against Kikuchi, who I did not think would happen. So you won that battle with Kikuchi last night, and then I think Gausman can do it. The only issue there, these Guardians, and we always say it, don't strike out a whole ton. So you'd have to limit the amount of upside there for Gausman. So he would be number 2 in this range, and then number 3 for me would be Yu Darvish facing these Mariners who do strike out a whole ton. Yu Darvish has been good. I thought he held his own against the Dodgers last time out. Didn't get as many points as I would hope. Did get 17 DK points, but Yu Darvish would be number 3 for me in this range.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I'm a little bit different than you. I do have some interest in Ohtani. He currently was in my core right now, but I'm going to relook some things and adjust some of my main build at least over here on DraftKings. So I might need some salary because I'm in lockstep with you on Max Fried. I think he's going to fry these Pirates up. I know Pirates have been a little pesky. Got to Strider a little bit and did hit a little bit the last 2 games. I think Fried can go out there. I mean, he's going to throw between 90 and 95 pitches out, I would assume. He doesn't really typically go 100 plus pitches. But if he is cruising, I think he definitely can get it done. He's got the 9th best strikeout matchup on the board, 5th best strikeout rate of all the pitchers on the slate. So I do like Max Fried quite a bit up in this range, especially at the discount there. I love Yu Darvish here. Excellent matchup. He's got the 11th best strikeout matchup on the board, 8th best overall K rate on the season for a pitcher. So I do like Yu Darvish. 8,800 is just too cheap. That's why he is getting the ownership. You can build very nice teams, very nice 5-man stack in my favorite game that we'll touch on with 2 of these top-end arms. So that's kind of where I'm going tonight, a little bit different than where I have been the last couple of weeks here. I've typically been spending down for pitching. You can definitely do it today. Obviously, we've got the Braves on the slate against a pretty weak pitcher from Pittsburgh, and those guys are expensive. So you can definitely go the cheap arms route. I'm gonna flip the script a little bit here and go 2 spend up arms, 2 of these top 4 guys, and then the 4th guy for me would be Gausman. I do think Kevin Gausman has a pretty good matchup here. I mean, yeah, Cleveland doesn't strike out a ton, but they also don't kill you with home runs, any of that stuff. And we just saw what Kikuchi did yesterday. So Kevin Gausman, much better pitcher than Kikuchi. So I think he can get the job done. I mean, you still got Gonzalez striking out 27%, Calhoun 31% for Laureano, 28% for Arias and Gallagher, both there. So, I mean, you got 5 bats all striking out over 25%. That's not good enough for me to say Kevin Gausman has a ton of upside at this price point. And I'm seeing Max Fried and Gausman, the 2 lowest owned guys of the top 4. So like those 2 quite a bit, and the other 2 as well. I do have a little bit of interest in Logan Allen. I think it's fine. I don't love it. I much prefer the other 4, but if you need an unowned guy up at 8,400, I think Logan Allen fits the script perfectly there. Let's hit on the rest of the slate. Hamwich, looking at these cheaper guys. I mean, hit on Jack Flaherty. I know you have some interest in Flaherty. I'm seeing 20 to 25% ownership on him. He gets that Houston lineup with his new team in Baltimore. I think this is his first start, if not his second start for Baltimore. Obviously, the Cardinals trade away all their pitching, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Flaherty making his a start in a Orioles uniform tonight, not a Cardinals uniform. So touch on him. Luis Severino down at 5,600 does seem to be getting a little bit of ownership, 15 to 20%, I would say, somewhere in there. He's just 5,600, gets this White Sox team, which we continue to pick on, at least myself continues to pick on quite a bit. And then hit on Emerson Hancock down there, all the way at the bottom, 4K flat, gets this San Diego lineup in a pitcher's park here, making his debut for Seattle. Not sure how many pitches he's going to throw, maybe 85-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, but he's just stowing minimum 4K. So hit on him for sure. And then anyone else, I mean, ownership's not going anywhere else really in this lower tier.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with Jack Flaherty, because I do have tons of interest in Jack Flaherty. Gets to face this Astros team rolling out 7 right-handed hitters, and Jack Flaherty has been pretty much dominant against right-handed hitters over the last 30 days, striking out 37% of right-handed hitters. Obviously, we got 2 major speed bumps in the middle of the lineup there. Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, batting 3-4 today. So I think we got to limit damage there if we can keep them off the base paths. I don't think these righties are going to do much damage to Flaherty. So he is in my core today over at SHIPIT Nation. I really like Flaherty, 7,200 on DraftKings, which is a steal to me. Was lights out in Toronto his first time. This will be his second start in that Orioles uniform. Gets to come home now. Hear that raucous crowd. So give me all of Jack Flaherty. Really like Flaherty today. Yeah, I'm seeing him sub 20% ownership, which I like. So give me some Jack Flaherty. And then the other one that you mentioned, Luis Severino, no interest there. Projected long reliever today for the Yankees. I just can't do it with him. We've picked on him all season long, and I know these White Sox aren't any good, but I'm not going to go there to Severino. And then I was looking at Emerson Hancock, and here's my stance on Emerson Hancock. I mean, $4,000 Stone Men, so we don't need too much from him. But I mean, this kid was pitching Double-A in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, just last week. It's a little different story when you're facing Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado. You don't see that in Double-A. So I understand this guy is a top-rated prospect for these Mariners. I believe it was George Kirby or whoever it was last night for the Mariners lit up this Padres team, striking out 12 of them. I just can't go there, Nades. I don't think it's going to be pretty for Mr. Hancock tonight, making his debut against a team that is potent like the Padres. So I'm out on him. So it would just be Flaherty down in this range for me.
Yeah, the case for Hancock is he is stretched out. I mean, 90-plus pitches in the minors. But again, it is the minors. Now he comes up to face Machado and Tatis, Cronenworth. I mean, you name it, the list goes on and on. Bogaerts. I mean, the Padres lineup is good top to bottom for the most part. Ha-Seong Kim, Juan Soto. I mean, you talk about it, Garrett Cooper, the newly acquired Garrett Cooper, who can hit some bombs. So I think I'd rather side with the Padres bats at unowned. But I mean, the case is still he is 4K flat. If he goes out there and picks up a couple strikeouts, limits, maybe goes 4 or 5 innings with 4 or 5 strikeouts and maybe 2 earned runs, something like that. I mean, that's very he definitely crushes his price point at 4K, and allows you to get up to the Braves bats, a 5-man Brave stack or a 5-man Boston stack, including the expensive Boston guys. I mean, so it is from a roster construction standpoint, it is a definitely interesting talking point. I tend to side more with the Padres bats, but if you need ultimate salary, I would much rather go all the way down to the Emerson at 4K than deal with guys like Severino or David Peterson or Hendricks or any of these guys in this middle. Because for me, it's Flaherty down here. It's Hancock if you need to stone punt all the way down at the bottom. And then maybe Nick Pivetta, but there's concerns there with Pivetta. I mean, it's fantastic hitting weather in Fenway Park. Pivetta's on short rest. I have no interest really in Pivetta. So like I said, it's Flaherty or going all the way down to Hancock for me personally. That's where I'm at. Let's go ahead and rank our top 4 pitchers on the slate, and then we'll jump game by game, breaking down the bats. How much your top 4?
Yeah. Real quick, going back to Emerson Hancock. I mean, it's one thing to go from AAA to the big leagues. To skip AAA altogether and just throw it against AA hitters, totally different in my opinion. These guys aren't even on the same stratosphere as anybody on the Padres roster. So I think that's such a big jump. And to your point, I mean, yeah, if he gets a couple strikeouts, 5 strikeouts or so, he's going to do good. But if he gives up 7 earned runs over 3 innings, then you're beat anyway. So I get the play at 4K, but no thanks to me. But to rank my 4 pitchers, number 1 for me is going to be Max Fried. Number 2 for me on the slate is going to be Jack Flaherty. Number 3, Kevin Gausman, and number 4 is going to be Yu Darvish.
Yeah, I like the rankings. I'm going to go Yu Darvish number 1 personally. Max Fried number 2. I will go Ohtani. Let's go Ohtani number 3, and then I'll go Flaherty number 4. That's kind of where I'm living. 5 or 6 pitchers mainly is what I'm looking at here. I think you can definitely spread out on some of these bats overall. And jumping into game by game, before we do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Again, this is all brought to you by SHIPITNation.com. $59 a month, $5.99 does get you access to all of our premium content. We have tons of stuff coming for NFL. We have a team meeting tomorrow to go over NFL, all the other stuff outside of a best ball content that continues to be released with Title and our guy Big Marley over here. And while I'm talking about best ball, have to mention our partners over at Drafters. Drafters.com. Still time to jump in those best ball streets. Use that code SHIPIT. Get you a 100% deposit bonus up to $100, basically a free $100 bill in your pocket. Get you a bunch of lineups into that $3 or 10 lineups into that main $20, which our guy Titletown did. Is the reigning champion for 250 stacks. Jumps it up 50 G's this year. It's 300K to first this year. See if you guys can jump in with Title, Big Marley. I know a bunch of us have been in those best ball streets as well. We have ADP rankings. You name it, we have it over on the site here. We appreciate Drafters a ton. So let's jump in game by game. First game I'm looking at is a pretty good one, I think, for bats on one side, and that's the Orioles side for me. Houston heading into Baltimore. Javier on the mound, who I've been attacking tons. His strikeout rate has dropped tremendously. He's getting barreled. He's getting hit hard. And these Orioles have some smashers in this lineup. So I do like the Orioles quite a bit. No Houston really for me. I do like Flaherty, but looking up the weather here in Camden Yards, about 85 degrees, wind blowing slightly out to center. Do you have interest in these Baltimore bats? Where are you going, Hamwich?
Yeah, let's start with the Astros first. Just I know I have a ton of interest in Jack Flaherty, but one off for me would be one of the two lefties. Yordan Alvarez profiles very well. So like I said earlier, if Jack can get around Yordan, then I really like Flaherty. So he or Kyle Tucker would be the only one for me as a one off. And then for me, oh man, these Orioles. I had the Orioles last night on one of my teams. Had 5 runs through 2 innings at 1% owned, and they didn't do anything for the last 7 innings. Nades, it was very hurtful, but. For me, the only Oriole that I have interest in today is batting in the 2-hole. Gunnar Henderson, really like him tonight. He'll be a guy that I have on my team. So Gunnar Henderson batting in the 2-hole would be the only Oriole for me. No interest in full stacking them tonight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different. I love the lefties here for Baltimore. I mean, looking at Javier's numbers against left side of the plate, 13% walk rate. Strikeout rate has dropped to 16% against lefties. I mean, he's getting hit for almost a 300 ISO, 70% fly ball rate. I mean, a 70% fly ball rate in 85-degree weather with slight wind blowing out. And you have some of the best lefty hitters in baseball right now. Adley, Gunnar Henderson continues to smash. Anthony Santander, Ryan O'Hearn in there. Adam Frazier's fine. This Cowser guy's fine. I like these lefties quite a bit for Baltimore. Don't sleep on them. I've stacked against Javier the last couple starts. Pretty much it's gone pretty well. So give me these lefties on Baltimore. I mean, I think they're going to be unowned, and I think they can boast a big number. I mean, you got 4 lefties to kick it off. Add in Mountcastle, add in Frazier, add in anyone down at the bottom of the order, Austin Hayes. And I think they can get the job done there. So I do like these lefties quite a bit for Baltimore. One of my favorite stacks of the board that are going overlooked here on this slate. For the Astros side, for me, you can always play Yordan. I mean, the dude absolutely smashes right-handed pitching, especially on the road. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I mean, we might see him get guaranteed four at bats for sure. And if some reason the Astros go crazy, we'll probably see a 5th at bat from him. So I think he's a fine one-off, but yeah, definitely prefer the Orioles side for me. I do like Flaherty quite a bit on this slate overall if you need a value pitcher. So Astros as a stack for me are no thanks. Next game on the slate, it's the big boys. It's the Atlanta Braves. Everyone in the lineup beside our guy Eddie Rosario is over 4K. Acuna is in that lineup after leaving the game yesterday. At least that's what I'm seeing. Batting leadoff. His price is up to 6,800. I mean, his price just keeps going up, but he keeps producing at the plate. I mean, stolen base, home run. He holds a 324 expected ISO this year against right-handed pitching, and now gets Quinn, not so Priester over here with a 17% K rate, barrel rate in double digits. I mean, these Braves look like a smash spot to me. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I mean, looking at the weather here in PNC Park, it's going to be in the 80s pretty much the entire duration of the game. Not a ton of wind or anything, but guaranteed 9th inning at bats for these Atlanta Braves against a bad pitcher. Are you with me on the Braves here tonight?
Yeah, I think you got to have interest in the Braves tonight. I mean, they just profile so well. My top two Braves are going to be Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies. No shock there, batting 1-2. A little bit of concern with Ronald leaving the game last night. Getting hit in that elbow. Obviously, he's well enough to play today. So I would just watch that. Marcell Ozuna, my boy Marcel, batting in the 6 hole. He profiles very well for me tonight. But give me Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies. That's my favorite two Braves. But you can stack 1 through 9. But I'll make sure to have those two once I do stack this team.
Yeah, I love the Braves 1 through 9. I think they're firmly all in play. You can't go wrong with any of them. The only issue is their price, right? You have to go cheaper at pitcher. That's where you're going to see the Emerson lineups come into play, right? Emerson Hancock, 4K. You're going to see him come into play in Braves 5-mans for sure, especially from a game theory perspective. So just do watch that, how you build your Braves teams, especially if you are using Acuna, Albies, Olsen, the expensive guys in there, Sean Murphy. Just be cautious of your pitcher combo. Obviously, you don't want to play all chalk, but I do think the Braves go under-owned like they have been just because of their sheer price tags, which is good. Finally, DraftKings priced this team up to where you really have to make a decision. Are you going to spend at pitching, or are you going to sacrifice your pitching to hopefully hit the Braves when they score 12 runs and hit 4 home runs, right? So that's where I'm at for the Atlanta side. I love them all. I mean, he's pretty equally bad to both sides of the plate. So it doesn't matter lefty, righty. Priester's been bad against both sides. I mean, fly balls are more on the left side. So I prefer the lefties as a starting point. And then obviously any of the righties firmly in play for me. On the Pirates against Max Fried, no reason to go to any of these Pirates. I love Max Fried. I mean, you got Henry Davis in there. He continues to be cheap, but he strikes out a lot. Andy Rodriguez is back in there, 50% K rate. Jack Sawinski has a 50% K rate against lefties. I mean, this team is just not good against left-handed pitching. So give me Max Fried as the number 1 overall pitcher on the slate. No Pirates for me, not even one-offs. Next game, we got to talk about it. It's the chalk game of the slate. One of the best hitting weather, if not the best. I mean, it's the best hitting park on the slate. And then you add in double-digit winds blowing out the duration of the game, 80 degrees in Fenway Park. We have bomb giver Jordan Lyles on one side, and we have the chalk of all chalk of the slate, the Boston Red Sox. But, man, it's hard to ignore. They have absolutely littered this lineup with lefties. All can pull the ball, all can hit the ball out, all have power, and they're all cheap against Mr. Jordan Lyles, who can't strike anyone out, gets hit hard, but definitely hit on these Royals side as well against Pivetta. I mean, Pivetta coming off a 3 days rest, I believe. I don't think he's going to go more than 70 pitches. Talk on the Royals, because I do think the Royals are going to get ownership, but they're going to be significantly lower owned than the Boston side. So definitely an interesting game here. I personally like both sides of this one. Where are you going here? How much?
Yeah, let's start on the Royals side. They've been really good over the last, I would say, 7 to 10 days. Michael Massey, $2,700 batting in the 3 hole for the Royals. He was heavily owned last night. I saw him in a bunch of the winners. 2,300 on FanDuel still. So I think you got to have interest in him. Bobby Witt's always a good play. MJ Melendez facing Nick Pivetta. And you said it. Pivetta threw 66 pitches 3 days ago. You wouldn't expect more than 75, like you alluded to. And so I think you gotta have interest in these Royals, because you're going to get that bullpen who they've been beaten up on all series long. Kyle Isbell, good game last night. Drew Waters, good game last night. This Royals team playing in this park, I think I really like them tonight. And then on the flip side, the Red Sox, man, you're going to see 30, maybe 40% ownership, 50% and higher stakes, a smaller field. But you got to have interest in these. I mean, you said it, Jordan Lyles striking out literally 9% of left-handed hitters over the last 30 days. He can't strike anybody out. I mean, Rafael Devers profiles extremely well. Tristan Cass is batting in the 5 hole. He's up a spot. I think you got to like him. The only one that I actually don't have interest in, and it's just because he's so new to the season, is Trevor Story. I think it's going to take him a while to get back into his groove. So I don't have any interest in Trevor Story, but pretty much, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 4, 5 for me is who I really like tonight for this Red Sox lineup.
Yeah, I'm. You can call me a chalk donkey. You can call me what you want. I just can't look past these Red Sox. I mean, it'd be different if it wasn't good hitting conditions in Fenway. But man, double-digit wind blowing out and 80 degrees, which is great weather for Boston this time of the year, against a pitcher who's got a 9% strikeout rate, like you said, to left-handed bats, and now he's going to see 6 lefties who all can hit the ball out of the park for the most part. I mean, Reese McGuire, maybe not, but Verdugo, Casas, Devers, Yoshida, Jaron Duran. I mean, sign me up. I love the Red Sox side. They're going to be heavily owned, but definitely, I mean, you can get different at pitcher. I mean, maybe if you play a Logan Allen up at the top, or play a Merrill Kelly, or play a Gosman instead of Otani or Yu Darvish. I mean, just don't play Yu Darvish and the Red Sox, and I think you're already different. Or do a secondary stack. I mean, chalk sometimes in baseball, it does go off. Sometimes it does get the job done. I do love the Red Sox side. And on the Royals side, I mean, yeah, I like these lefties. I mean, your guy Pivetta there, looking at last 30-day numbers, I mean, 50% fly ball rate to left side of the plate, and ISO numbers against lefties at 323. So sign me up for the lefties. Michael Massey, MG Melendez. I like that little mini stack there. 3,100, 2,700. I mean, sub 6K, and you can get a 3-5 stack who both have power. Melendez hit a bomb last night. I think Massey hit a bomb as well. 3-5 in the lineup. I like those two quite a bit. Kyle Isbell is a nice, viable punt down there at 2,300 at the outfield spot. So I don't hate these Royals by any means. Basically probably going to be a bullpen-esque game, because I don't think Pivetta is going to go more than 4 or 5 innings here with the short rest, with the pitch count concern. So definitely love this game. I think it is a viable game stack here on this slate. Next game, we have the Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland Guardians here. Logan Allen on the mound, Kevin Gosman, 2 viable pitchers, 2 pitchers that we had a little bit of interest in. At least I have a little bit of interest in. So personally, I'm out on bats in this one, but you got to bring up David Schneider, who continues to be pretty cheap. They did move him to outfield only now. He is up to 3,100, but he's been crushing the ball. And then your guy, Matt Chapman, against the lefty in there. Hit on the Blue Jays, hit on the Guardians. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, Nate, this is going to be my hot take of the day, and it's I'm all in on these Blue Jays. I love these Blue Jays tonight. Facing Logan Allen, their prices on FanDuel are at an all-time low. They haven't got a run in 2+ games. I think now's the time to buy on these Blue Jays. No one's going to play them. We never want to play the Blue Jays when they're chalk, so I think now's the time. You mentioned it. Our boy Matt Chapman batting in the 4-hole, batting cleanup tonight. Really like him, especially facing a lefty. They're rolling out, I believe, 8 right-handed hitters. We've used Logan Allen numerous times, especially against the White Sox, but tonight I don't think that's tonight. I have tons of interest in these Blue Jays just based on their past performance. I'm a buy low kind of guy, so we're going to buy low on them. Got some great prices for them. Nobody's going to play them. I think they go for 8+ runs tonight, 4+ dongs. So give me these Blue Jays, and let's hope to get us a shipper.
All right. Well, that's definitely a hot take. I will tell you that. Nobody's going to play these Blue Jays. I don't hate a little mini stack in Chapman and Schneider, like I said there. 4-6 stack. Danny Jansen's a fine catcher option. So right there, middle of the lineup, I would say 4, 5, 6 is my preference. Those 3 bats, just a mini stack only if you do go to them. Personally, for me, I still think Logan Allen is a pretty serviceable pitcher. I think there's much worse pitchers to pick on the slate. But hey, if you have a hot take like Hamwich does in those Blue Jays, maybe they get the job done here. Definitely game log watchers are not going to be playing these Blue Jays outside of maybe David Schneider. But I think they're fine as a mini stack. On the Guardian side, really no interest in me. I just don't feel the need to attack Kevin Gosman on this slate. So no Guardians for me. Easy cross-off spot for me personally. Next game on the slate, we have the Cubs heading into New York to face David Peterson. Kyle Hendricks on the mound. Kyle Hendricks, standard game manager out there. Not going to be a really good fantasy pitcher overall. Looking at the weather in Citi Field, about 86, 85 degrees, wind kind of blowing out to right, kind of straight across the field. These Cubs guaranteed 9th inning at bats against David Peterson, who, can strike some bats out, but I don't think he's the greatest pitcher by any means. Not going to throw super long, maybe 4 innings, 5 innings. Any interest in these Cubs? I do think the Cubs are interesting. I'm a little upset that Yan Gomes is not in the lineup there against the lefty. I had him in my main build. I have to rework some things now that he's not in there. But Miguel Amaya, I believe, is in there. Talk on this one, Cubs and the Mets.
Yeah, you can change to that little 3-game, three-team mini, 3-stack mini, and get your boy, Donnie Johnson in there at the catcher position. Now that'll be a true shipper. I see my guy Myron Kidd loves the Jays as well, so we're going to ship tonight with the Jays. But no interest for me. Sorry, I had to plug my computer in. I don't have any interest in the Cubs tonight. I don't know. I'm just off the Cubs in this park. They've been scuffling of late here at this park, so no interest for me on these Cubs, and a little bit of more interest in these Mets. Kyle Hendricks, not the best pitcher, certainly not going to blow anything past you. Pete Alonso, home run in the last 2 games. So I like Pete Alonso again. I think he's hot. Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Alvarez against the righty, batting in the 2-hole today. Francisco Lindor, really 1 through 4 for me. I played Jeff McNeil last night, and I told myself a long time ago never to play Jeff McNeil, and I went against what I always told myself. So do not play Jeff McNeil. He's the new Marcell Ozuna for me. So if he home runs tonight, man, that'll be egg all over my face. So no McNeil for me, but I'm very high on 1 through 4 in this Mets lineup for me tonight. I know you like Mark Vientos. I've heard you talk about him the last 2 days. I think he's 0 for 8 in the last 2 days too, Nate. So no Vientos for me tonight.
Hey, it's he's still a value guy at a third base. If you need a $2,500 guy, he does have the metrics. I mean, he struggles. It's baseball, up and down, whatever. But I still think he's fine play. Not definitely a staple piece or core play or anything like that. Main piece in, but I do think he's fine value guy. I do like the top 4 for the Mets there. I'm in lockstep with you. Brendan Nemo, Alvarez is a nice catcher option. Lindor, Pete Alonso. I like those guys quite a bit. And then obviously Vientos if you need a punt guy at the third base. Cubs for me, I do think are interested. Cody Bellinger, Dansby Swanson, Amaya, Patrick Wisdom, I think are fine. Don't love it. Definitely think there's better spots, but Cubs are scuffling a little bit. I think they could turn it around here against David Peterson, so I don't hate it, but definitely not one of my favorite games for bats on this slate. Next game, we have the Yankees heading into Chicago, the other side of the Chicago, the south side here to face the White Sox. Clevenger, Severino on the mound. Severino's going to get some ownership here. White Sox, I think Luis Robert hit a bomb last night. He's got good numbers against righties as well. Any interest in this one on the bats side?
Yeah, no interest. No interest for the Yankees for me as a full stack. I mean, obviously Judge is always in play, assuming he's in the lineup tonight. But no interest in stacking these Yankees. And Luis Robert is interesting to me, especially if people are going to play Luis Severino. I would have tons of interest in him. So I want to look and kind of see what kind of ownership projections that Severino is going to have. I mean, he's striking out 17% of right-handed hitters over the last 30 days. Fastball expected ISO versus fastball is almost 450. And Luis Robert hitting a fastball, his expected ISO is 450. So I really like Luis Robert tonight as a one-off, but he would be the only one. And then I'm not going to full stack the Yankees, but you can never go wrong with playing Judge as a one-off in your lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I'll bring up my boy, Jake Bauers. Continues to be cheap, continues to have power. I don't hate him. I think he's a nice value play on the slate. First base, outfield eligible, 2,800. Won't be surprised to see him take the ball deep there in Chicago. I like him. And then Aaron Judge, it's always Aaron Judge, especially against a righty on the road this season. 608 expected ISO on the road this season against right-handed pitching. Clevenger can get barreled, doesn't have a great strikeout rate overall. I think he is kind of washed up as a pitcher. So don't hate these Yankees. And then the White Sox, man, I just can't get excited to play the White Sox. I hate Severino. I've stacked against Severino, in every one of his starts pretty much this year. I don't know if I can do it here with the White Sox. It's a good GPP play, I think. Andrew Vaughn, Luis Robert, Jimenez, Moncada. There is some guys in this lineup that can hit the ball. Or Tim Anderson, the Counting Stars is his new nickname, Tim Anderson, getting that right hook from J-Ram there. Maybe that woke him up a little bit. Maybe it found him a swing. I highly doubt it, but 3,600 at a shortstop position, bat and lead off. I think he could do worse. It's just more of a bet on Severino being Severino than it is on these White Sox bats being any good because they haven't been any good. So prefer the White Sox side in this one. Actually, I think it's just the worst pitcher of the two to target, I think, personally. Next game on the slate, we head out to L.A. We got the Giants heading in to face Goat Tani on the mound, most expensive pitcher on the slate. Ryan Walker, I believe, is going to start. I'm not sure who's coming in after him. He's not going to pitch long. Touch on any interest in this one. Very low total here. Personally, I don't have any interest, but do you see something I'm missing, Hamilton?
I don't. And going back to Tim Anderson, don't play Tim Anderson. 2.5280 in his last 5. Gosh, that guy is singing stars. He's so bad. But back to the task at hand. Yeah, I don't pick on bullpen games and these Angels. Nades, wow, what has happened to these Angels? They trade for a bunch of people. They want to make Ohtani happy, then they just go straight down the shitter, and they're going the opposite direction of what they had hoped. But Ohtani as a hitter, which you can't play tonight, would be nice. I'm not on him as a pitcher. But the only one I would have a little interest in is Brandon Drury. Brandon Drury did hit a home run last night. I think he went for 35 plus FanDuel points. So a little bit of interest in Drury batting in the 3-hole. And then these Giants, I can't do these Giants. I play Jock Peterson sometimes, but nobody against Ohtani tonight. And they just pinch hit too much. So I'm out on this game altogether.
Yeah, I'm with you. Easy stay away spot for me. I'm not going to any bats in that one. Let's talk about it. We got 2 games left. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We got about 200 some people in here watching. 68 likes. Let's see if we can get that. We need about 52 more likes. Let's see if we can get that home to 120 likes. And we'll give away our top 2 ranked pitchers, our top 2 ranked hitters over here at SHIPIT Nation, our proprietary ranking system. Again, $59 a month, $5.99 for the year does get you access to all of our premium content, tools, projections, everything you need to have success with DFS is what we like to say. Not just core plays. We're not just a core spoon-fed site over here. We give you guys the tools and the metrics and all the stuff that we look at to do these shows, to build our cores, to build our lineups, our own personal lineups that we put money behind. We have all that giving you access with tutorial breakdowns on each and every single part of the site. And our new partnership with LineStar, bringing a new piece to our company that we were missing before, ownership projections. LineStar, I've used their product multiple years. I think it's an excellent product. Their perfect lineup system is great to do our lineup review shows, which we will have for NFL. But now we do have ownership projections for all of the major sports, courtesy of LineStar. So we appreciate them coming aboard as a partner as well to SHIPIT Nation. Big things coming over here at SHIPIT Nation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these Dodgers against Merrill Kelly. I think Merrill Kelly's a fine pitcher, but he struggles against lefties, and the Dodgers have one of the best left-handed hitters in all of baseball, and Freddie Freeman. Got Max Muncy in there, Peralta, Hayward, Outman. Outman's hitting the ball pretty good. I don't mind some of these lefties as a mini stack against Merrill Kelly. Obviously not a pitcher that I want to really attack on a bigger slate like this, but his numbers over the last 30 days to specifically the left side of the plate, I mean, he's got a 10% walk rate, ISO numbers almost at 300, and fly ball rate right around 30%. So I do like me some Freddie Freeman, Muncy, and Outman for sure. The other lefties you can definitely play as well, I think personally. And then any of the D-backs against Bobby Miller. We didn't really hit on Bobby Miller too much on the slate at 8,200. But where are you going in this one for bats?
Yeah, we didn't touch on either pitcher. So real quick, I mean, the thing with Merrill Kelly, I think he's a good real-life pitcher. He just doesn't throw enough pitches. I mean, looking back at his last, I think it was 6+ games, he hasn't got to 100 pitches in any of those games. So I just don't think he can get there. The Dodgers this season, I mean, they just battle every at bat. I mean, they have 5 All-Stars, I think, batting in the 1 through 5. Just picked up Ahmed Rosario, so they just battle. So no interest for me. You said it. The lefties give him the most problems. So free money Freddie profiles very well. You can never go wrong playing Mookie Betts, striking out. Both those guys striking out below 16% on the season versus right-handed hitters. My hot take of the day for this Dodgers team, if he's in the lineup, we have him projected in the 7-hole. I really like Jason Hayward tonight, batting in the 7th hole. Is a lefty, gives Merrill Kelly some trouble. So give me some Jason Hayward tonight. And then as it relates to Bobby Miller is a reverse splits guy where he struggles more versus righties, only striking out 14% of those guys over the last 30 days. So I wouldn't mind some of those righties. I mean, Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte will both bat from the left-handed side. I mean, you can always play the one of them, but Lourdes Gurriel, Christian Walker, Tommy Pham, if those 3 in the lineup wouldn't have little mini with those three just because they're right-handed, and Bobby Miller struggles more versus righties than he does lefties this year.
I know. Excellent breakdown. I'm more off the D-backs. I don't think I'm going to go any D-backs on this slate. It would just be more the lefties for me in the Dodgers lineup. Freddie Freeman, one of the top one-off plays on the slate, I think. Going to hit right at second or third, probably second in this lineup against Merrill Kelly, who is reverse splitsy, gets hit harder from the left side of the plate. And like I said, Dodgers have some good lefties in there to attack him with. Last game of the slate, we have the Padres heading into Seattle to face Mr. Emerson Hancock, making his major league debut from Double-A. Haven't looked too much into him, but he is stretched out, throwing 90-plus pitches in his starts. Now gets to face one of the best lineups on paper. Haven't been one of the best lineups in terms of production, but Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, Machado, Bogaerts, Cronenworth, Gary Sanchez, Cooper if he's in there, Trent Grisham, who's been hitting decent, Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, 1 through 9, these guys are pretty good, at least on paper. Is this a bet on, hey, I've stacked against guys making their debut quite a bit. I get it. He is 4K, but I like some of these Padres bats. Are you with me here, Hamwich?
Yeah, I think if I was going to pick one or the other, I think I'd have to side with the bats. And I'll go back to it. I understand that he's a top prospect, but he's been facing double A hitters, the highest he's faced his career. Now we're coming in playing real life major league hitters, Tatis, Ha-Seong Kim, Grisham. I mean, you said it, Cronenworth. I mean, these guys are big league hitters, pretty good at that level, and they're all stars. And so Emerson Hancock, 4K, I guess I could see that you could play it. I mean, I know he throws upper 90s, has a decent slider, but man, it's tough. You know, your first start facing this Jays team. If it was the A's or somebody, I could see it, but I'm not playing Emerson Hancock. Juan Soto, lefty righty, I don't mind. Jake Cronenworth, don't mind. Trent Grisham, you always talk about Trent Grisham down there in the 9-hole. I think is okay. I think these Padres 1 through 9 are going to be okay. And then on the other side, no real interest in these Mariners. They just strike out too much for me. We talk about how much interest we have in you, Darvish. So I'm completely out on these Mariners, and give me these Padres 1 through 9.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like the Padres side quite a bit. I think they're going to go unknown. People are more going to play Hancock, I think, for the salary savings to get up to the Braves, to get up to these big offenses, the Yankees, the Red Sox. I mean, those three for sure. Or the Dodgers. I mean, if you want a 5-man stack, the Dodgers, which I don't think is going to be very popular at all on the slate against Merrill Kelly, you're going to need a value guy, and that's where they're going to go is Hancock at 4K, regardless of messing in that lower tier range like Severino, stuff like that. So I prefer the Padres side. More mini stacks, I think, personally. Juan Soto, I think, is the elite option on the slate, lefty versus the righty here. I mean, you're going to have to pitch to someone in this lineup because, like I said, he's sandwiched between Tatis and Machado. So pick your poison there. So I like Juan Soto quite a bit, especially as a one-off. And Trent Grisham, I always play Trent Grisham. I love him down there in the 9-hole, little wraparound stack, little Trent Grisham, Tatis, Juan Soto, throwing Garrett Cooper there at the first base position, 2,700, newly acquired from the Marlins. He's always got power there or was one of the Miami power hitters, obviously not there anymore. Now comes a team where he's one of the weaker power hitters on the team, but that's a good problem to have. So I don't hate these Padres. Mariners side for me, I'm not going to attack Yu Darvish. I think Yu Darvish is my top pitcher on the slate, but he's also going to be owned like the top pitcher because he's everyone's top pitcher on the slate, at least from ownership projections. So take that for what it's worth, but I'm still not going to attack him with any of these Seattle bats. That's going to do it. That's all the games on the slate. We talked pitching. We talked game by game. We were a little bit late, ran about 50 minutes here, breaking it down for you guys. We're going to jump into our segment where we go your favorite pitcher and your home run call. Hit that like button. See if we can make a push here to the end to get the top-ranked pitchers, top-ranked hitters over here on our ranking system before we do out of here. If not, we will get out of here and see you guys tomorrow. But Hamwich, where are you going for your pitcher call of the day?
So I already gave my 1 through 4. I'm going to give the folks my low-owned pitcher of the day that I think is going to get 17-plus DraftKings points, and it's going to be in the Windy City. It's going to be Mike Clevenger facing these Yankees. I think he can Get 6, 7, 8 strikeouts against them and really limit the damage. Get by Judge, get by your boy Bowers in that 1-2 hole. I really like Mike Clevenger as my low-owned pitcher of the day, Nades.
I mean, that's an interesting take. That came out of left field, so I do like it. I don't mind it for sure.
And let me tell you the reason why. Just looking at his game log. Talk about game log watching. Every game at home this season, he has had 15 plus points except for one game. I'm not scared of this Yankees offense. I mean, they've really struggled, I think, in Chicago. I think they got 6 runs last night. Neekin and Duncan and Judge hit one deep late, but I like Mike Clevenger to get 17 and a half is what I'll set the over under for Clevenger tonight. You taking the over or the under, Nades?
I'm going to take the under on that, but it is an interesting talking point because the Yankees are going to be a top 2-owned stack, top 3-owned stack on the slate. Everyone wants to go to the other side, so I don't hate the game theory approach there. Personally, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go my low-owned pitcher. I really don't have a low-owned pitcher, to be honest, that I like. I mean, I'm going to bring up Max Fried. I think Max Fried's my favorite pitcher overall on the slate at his price point. I'm seeing right around 20% ownership. Not any sort of clear chalk. It's not the Yu Darvish numbers or the Ohtani numbers. Give me Max Fried right there at 9,400 against this Pirates lineup. I think it's a great matchup. Fried coming off a great game. I think he gets the job done, and I think he has the run support on the back end as well from these Atlanta Braves bats. Hamwich, where are you going? Home run call of the day.
Home run call today. I'm gonna go with my hot take. I said it earlier. You had him yesterday. Didn't go yard. I think it was yesterday. But I'm gonna go right back to him. Batting in the 4 hole. He's gonna get 4 at bats. Matty Ice, Matt Chapman is gonna take Logan Allen deep tonight.
All right. I like it. I'm gonna go to the chalkiest stack of the day, but I'm going to one of the lowest owned bats in the lineup. I think it's the 9-hole hitter. Second base, shortstop, eligible. It's Pablo Reyes, 2,600, the 9-hole for the Red Sox. I think he takes Jordan Lyles deep tonight in Fenway. A little bit different on the chalkiest stack of the evening. I like him quite a bit to round out your teams there. Allows you to double spend a pitcher. That's going to do it. We got through all the slate. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Toga, Gator, Jake, Izzy, everyone else in the chat interacting. We appreciate y'all a ton. If you have not already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back. I will not be back, but they will be back right here on this channel tomorrow, breaking down the slate. I will see you guys back on Friday. But for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck, everyone, tonight, and let's ship it.